Okay, so if you look, I'm just gonna go ahead and put that to add to spawn and make that fix. And let's see if that gives a fix to this. Yay. Okay. So I'm gonna hit play and see if maybe it's not gonna work because you can see I didn't assign the reference. So what I'm gonna do is go to project, and I gotta go to assets, and I gotta go to prefabs, and on game controller it wants the object to be spawned, and it's this one. And now I hit play. Good, it made an enemy and just one. There you go. Now it made another one. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna escape and hit scene, and I'm gonna so I have game controller selected. And look back to game controller. So let's see. Controller. Okay. All right. So let's see. Okay. So it's not really working quite correctly. So I gotta check some stuff here. It's putting it right down in here. So it's not actually putting it where I wanted it. So I gotta work on that. Alright, so once again, I'm kind of an idiot. So what's doing is it's spawning, it's spawning the stuff basically on center, because if you look at my game controller, I didn't put the spawn values. So what I need to do is I got to take this, pull it up here, I'm going to put it right in the center here. And you can see it's more or less 0, 0 minus this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look how far up it goes. So we're going to say it goes up to, looks like let's do 275, we'll say, okay? And then I'm going to look over here, and it goes more or less, we'll say to, let's say 200. So we'll say 275, right? 275 by 200, okay? So what I'm going to do is underneath here, we're going to do 200, and then here is going to be 275. And now what it's going to do, and you'll see when I hit play, and I'm going to hit escape and go to scene, what you're going to see is that more or less this little game controller is going to spawn. It's going to keep moving around that area and spawning the characters therein. Now the issue I'm having now, as you can see, it's not actually, it's doing it on the 0 plane. It's not doing it from above. So that's something I need to fix. Okay, but you can see it is actually sporadically moving them. So besides the up and down, I also need to put it up here. So all I gotta do is I gotta think of the value that I want to be up here. So if I'm looking at it, we'll say, if I go down to 250, yeah, 250 is enough. So I'm just gonna go 250. It just needs to be higher than what this is. And now what you're gonna see when I hit play is it will, I'm gonna hit escape and then hit scene, is that this is going to basically move around, and each place that it moves around to, it's going to spawn a new guy on. Okay, so watch, boom, there's gonna be one right below it, and then it's gonna go to the next one here, and there's gonna be one underneath it. Okay, and it's gonna go around, it's gonna spawn. Okay, so let me explain exactly how this is working so you get a better idea of what we just did, because I think it's probably kind of weird. So this is what we did. So it's going to say function spawn. So right off the bat I say, okay, run on start, run the function spawn. Here's my function spawn. In function spawn, what I said is okay, while the end game is, well, it's not end game, which is obviously I already set to false, so it's not the end of the game. I'm going to say, okay, variable spawn position is going to be a vector 3, so an XYZ. It's going to be a new one. And the new one that I'm going to create is going to be based off of these values, okay? So first it goes X, then Y, and then Z, okay? Now, what it does is it's going to take a random range for the X and a random range for, this should have been a Z. That's a mess up there, sorry. Z, Z, okay, for Z, okay, and then Y. So what it's going to do is it's going to randomly make a position on those values. So if I did I think I did like 250, right? It's going to make a number randomly within the range of minus 250, that's the minus, and positive 250. Then it's going to take my spawn values y, which is, I think I actually put 250 for that as well. So that's just, it's just going to put that value. Okay, so it's just going to say y, and then it's going to take a random range between the values I put for z, which I think was like 200. Okay, so it's going to do between negative 200 and positive 200. So more or less what it's going to do is it's going to say, okay, find something that's in this area. It's going to randomly find a position in this area based off of those values. Okay. And then it's also going to make a default rotation. This really doesn't mean too much. I just need to have this because it needs that in order to instantiate. Then what I do is I say, okay, after you find that position, I want you to take the game object that this is attached to, which in this case is game controller, and I want you to put it where that position is that this found. Okay. Then after you find that, after you put it there, I want you to set the value of the y, the up, down. So right now, this value, the up and down, I want you to take that value, and what I want you to do is run this script, and whatever this script gives you, that's the y value. So it's going to run this script. So it runs this script down here. Then what this script does is it creates a variable called hit. That's a raycast hit. And basically what it does is it creates a raycast. It shoots it down. What it does is it shoots it down. So you see how it says physics.raycast. It says transform position. And it says minus vector 3 up. So what that means is that instead of shooting up, it's going to shoot down because it's a minus. Okay? And then what it's going to do is it's going to say, okay, after it shoots that, what I want it to do is I'm going to store the distance from when it gets shot. So basically after, this object here is wherever it randomly gets put, it's going to shoot a vector, a ray down. And what it's going to do is it's going to say, okay, what's the distance of that? It's going to say, okay, the distance of that, I'm going to store whatever that value is, like the distance from here to here. So obviously here it's going to be less, and here it's going to be more. It's going to take that and it's going to store it into distance to ground. Then what I did is I said, okay, the y position is going to be equal, which is a float, is going to be equal to where the game object is. So this has an absolute y position, like right now it says 228, right? It's going to be 228 minus the distance from here to the ground, okay? And then what it's going to do is it's going to take that and it's going to make that the final y position. So it's basically what it's going to do. It's going to say, okay, if this is 228, but it's this far from the ground, so let's say it's here, it's 45. So from here to here, subtract that. It's going to make this the new y position. And then what's going to happen is it's going to store that into the spawn position y. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to instantiate the enemy, which is in this case the enemy that I made, spawn position, which I took spawn position, which we got from up here, right, this and this, but I replaced the spawn position y with this function down here. It's going to take the spawn position and then random rotation. It's going to wait a certain amount of time, and then it's going to spawn again, okay? And that's basically what ended up happening. And so it's going to randomly spawn. It's like crashing on me here. I better save this. It's going to randomly spawn that character wherever. And now when I hit play, it's going to keep spawning these animals and such. You can see I got my running. And if I go sideways, it'll roll sideways, and so on and so forth. And if I go around, I could shoot these eggs. I got to find one of these guys to shoot. It's not spawning them fast enough, but luckily enough, they're looking for me too, because that's the way the AI works. Where are you? I don't see any. There's one. Okay, way off in the distance. I'm going to go over there and try and kill it. So, if you hold shift, that's sprint. I don't know if you know that. So I'm going to go over there. Probably could spawn this a little bit faster. Yada, 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 yada. Come over here, buddy. And I'll kill him, and then he dies, and it's great. Yay! That's it. Oh, there's another one. Okay, and you can see we could shoot him. Yay! All right. And you can see they're starting to... Okay. Good. So we got that kind of working. They're being spawned. I can shoot them, and they can die, and that's fantastical. And that's good. So that's all working pretty well. So the next thing to do, more or less, would be to basically set up winning conditions. Because right now the game's kind of playable. You can run around, you can shoot them, it spawns the enemies come at you. They don't kill you or anything, but you can kill them. And that's good. The next things we need to do, basically, is make the a player health script that's going to basically keep track of what the health of the character is. We're going to have to also have the enemy be able to attack. And then we're going to have to make pickups so that when you kill the enemy, you either get ammo or you get health. Okay, so that'll be the next video. I might do that next week, though. I think we're probably going to keep that where we are right now for this week. So you should have it this far by the end of this week.